All right, coming to you live from Champion Studio in Charleston, South Carolina. Welcome to That's Gotta Hurt Live. Wherever you're watching, hope you're making tonight your masterpiece. My name is Dr. David Geier, double board certified orthopedic surgeon, sports medicine specialist, and media medical expert. Whether you play fantasy sports, you bet on the games, or you're just a die-hard sports fan, I help you understand the injuries of pro and college athletes so you can hopefully win your league or win your bets or just enjoy the games more. If you subscribe to my channel, my video channel, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, you've probably been for years watching me talk mostly about health and wellness. I do a Better Than Ever live show most weekdays at noon Eastern time. I post short videos on exercise, nutrition, sleep, longevity, mental health, and topics like that every day. I'm starting a series of videos and live streams on modern medical treatments for orthopedic injuries later this week, and I do an Ask Dr. Geier live stream most Fridays. But if you go back to when I started blogging, when I started doing social media way back in 2009, I focused mainly on injuries of pro and college athletes. But I got away from that to do more health and wellness content, but I've always had a passion for orthopedic injuries of the top athletes. Over the last 6 months or so, so many people have come up to me, some friends and just other people I knew, encouraging me to do videos and live streams and content on injuries of pro and college sports. Some play fantasy football, some like to gamble on sports, but I kept hearing they couldn't find an expert on injuries that they understood or that they enjoyed watching. I kept hearing things like the expert uses all technical terms, or they didn't know what to make of that person because they weren't an orthopedic surgeon, or the expert was just boring to listen to and watch. And I love creating videos. I have this entire TV studio in my home office I use for work as the medical expert for 2 TV stations, so thought I'd give it a try. Now, if you wonder why I'm qualified to talk about sports injuries, I'll tell you. I'm a board-certified orthopedic surgeon with a subspecialty certification in orthopedic sports medicine, trained at the oldest orthopedic surgery residency program in the country, did a sports medicine fellowship at Washington University in St. Louis, working with the doctors who took care of the St. Louis Cardinals and Rams and Blues. I've run sports medicine programs at an academic medical center and a private regional hospital, took care of a pro soccer team, chief tournament physician for a professional women's tennis tournament, taking care of national teams in several sports. But I also treat these injuries. I've done thousands of surgeries for athletes with injuries, knee injuries, shoulder, ankle, elbow, just about any part of the body you can put a scope in. I've done it to treat an athlete's injury, and not just simple scope procedures, but major joint reconstructions. I've done tons of trauma surgeries, including some on athletes, tibia fractures, ankle fractures, foot, forearm, elbow. So we'll talk about some of those gruesome injuries when they occur too, like what happened yesterday with Tennessee Titans tight end Michael Pruitt. And in case you're wondering why the show is called That's Gotta Hurt, it's based on a book I wrote 4 years ago, or longer than that, but it was published 4 years ago, called That's Gotta Hurt, The Injuries That Changed Sports Forever. If you're a sports fan, I highly recommend it. I'm biased, obviously. But you'll hear stories of injuries, many of those injuries you won't even remember, but those injuries change sports. New rules changes, new surgeries, rehab, new prevention strategies, even changes to the sports themselves resulting from those injuries. It's a fun read. All right, so here's what you can expect on this show. I'm not going to do a lot of topics tonight, but I want to tell you what we're going to do. Each night, 7 p.m., I'll talk about 3 or 4 of the biggest injuries in sports, those that affect that night's game, but also big injury news from the night before or reports coming from the teams earlier that day. We'll discuss what the injury is or what it likely is, how long the player might be out. How likely is it that he'll play? Will he be at less than 100%? But I'll try to do more than just tell you it's an ACL tear or Achilles tear or that kind of thing. We'll talk about why that injury matters, how it affects the player's movement and performance, and how it might affect his long-term health and career. Plus, if a big-name player gets hurt later that night or on Saturdays or Sundays, I'll try to jump on live for an impromptu live stream offering instant injury insight of that injury. One of the advantages of live videos, you can get online and get information online much faster than writing an article. And if this show eventually goes well, I will turn it into a podcast. That's Gotta Hurt Live. You'll be able to listen to the show a few hours after the live stream each night. And let's face it, we're going to have fun. I am a huge sports fan. I have sports on TV just about every night and every day on the weekends. If you're wondering, I'm an enormous Memphis Grizzlies fan. I actually have Grizzlies shorts on right now. I grew up in Memphis, lived there several times. In the office, you could see Grizzlies towels and other items around the studio. In fact, after this game, I'm going to watch the Grizzlies play the Brooklyn Nets. Big game. Half our team's out from COVID, so I'm not really expecting a win. I'm a big soccer fan. Liverpool in the English Premier League. You can see a few of the Liverpool scarves I have in here too. Tennessee Titans fan in the NFL from my time in Memphis. Good year for them too. Current number 1 seed in the AFC. And huge St. Louis Cardinals fan. I know I'm in the Southeast. Everybody's a Braves fan, but I'm a Cardinals fan from my time in the Sports Medicine Fellowship. So feel free in the comments, talk about your favorite players and teams. Do it in the chat. I don't typically talk trash, but I do encourage it among people watching the live shows. And feel free to ask questions about players either that we're discussing or any other injuries you know about or want to know more about in pro and college athletes. I'll do my best to answer all of those questions. Now, in these That's Gotta Hurt live shows, if you ask a question about an injury that you personally have, you put that in the chat, I might have time to give you a short answer depending on what we're talking about. If not, I apologize, but I do encourage you to join me right here Fridays, noon Eastern time, because all I do then is answer injury questions. So that's the plan here with That's Gotta Hurt Live. Again, I'm not talking about specific injuries really that much tonight, but every weeknight, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll do my best not to miss any nights, but we're gonna have fun. You might learn a few things, and hopefully you can win your bets in the upcoming game, win your fantasy league, or just enjoy the games you're watching that much more. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dr. David Geier. Ring the bell to be notified as soon as I go live, or you can subscribe on Facebook and LinkedIn. Robert, thank you for joining us. Robert frequently joins the Better Than Ever Live episodes. Really excited to be here and to talk about sports. It's a little different than what I normally do, but this is something I really care about. Should be a lot of fun doing it most every night of the week. So that's the plan. Again, not talking a lot about specific injuries tonight, but I will be right back here tomorrow night with That's Gotta Hurt Live. I look forward to seeing you there. Take care.